Hello, Fearlessly Failing fam. We have Linda Duncombe on the podcast today, and holy moly, she is a formidable force. And can I please be like you, Linda? She's an executive producer of the Queen's Jewels, this incredible feature film. As soon as it is out, you have to go and watch it because Matt and I have seen it twice and we already are like, when can we see it again? Linda has this incredible history, 35 years in finance and banking, and then literally was like, and I'm going to change my career and produce feature films. She's so incredible, so kind, so warm, and Aussie. So enjoy the accent. But I hope you love this chat. If you are a creative or anybody with a dream, this episode is for you. G'day. I'm Lola Berry, nutritionist, author, actor, TV presenter, and professional oversharer. This podcast is all about celebrating failure because I believe it's a chance for us to learn, grow, and face our blind spots. Welcome to the pod, Linda Duncombe. Mate, I don't even know where to start with you. Truly. So, executive producer and producer of the Queen's Jewels, which we have been lucky enough to see twice now.
Yay.
Huge fans. But you have this whole other 35-year spanning career stemming from banking. And I have to, like I said, I have Post-it notes literally stuck around the house. So correct me if I'm wrong, but executive vice president, chief marketing and data and digital officer at the Bank of Stars, City National Bank.
You did very well. That's correct.
Is it really?
That was my title.
Okay, amazing. And that's what brought you to America initially, right?
No, what actually originally brought me to America was Citibank. So my poor mum would get confused. I worked at National Australia Bank, then I worked at Citibank, and then I worked at City National Bank.
Got it. Okay. I'm glad that your mum and I are on the same page there. So take me back. You're 9 years old. You're watching Charlie's Angels. You're watching Wonder Woman. You're like, Mum, Dad, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to America.
Yeah. I was a very quiet, awkward child, very shy, and I loved those TV shows. And we grew up in government housing. I didn't know that meant that we didn't have money that everybody else had because there was so much love in our home. And I would watch TV, which was a huge treat when we got it. And I would watch these shows and I would twirl around like Wonder Woman. And I turned to my parents, I remember it so clearly, and I said, I'm going to live in New York. I'm going to live in America. And I'm sure they thought or maybe hoped I would grow out of it. But absolutely, like without question or hesitation, I mean, yeah, baby, you could do it. Like you could do it. And then a goal was kind of set, I think, not even consciously as a 9-year-old, no pressure from anybody, including myself, but this dream to want to live in America.
And look at you.
And here I am.
Look at you. And literally last night, you were at the Emmys.
We were. It's true. Josh and I were at the Emmys. It was so much fun.
It makes me even emotional thinking about, Kate, give me a highlight. What was your favourite highlight moment?
In all sincerity, getting to do it with Josh Friedman, who I just respect and love so much professionally and personally, is always a huge privilege. But you're walking like to go through the red carpet and celebrities are having to queue up with you. Like everybody's having to queue up. People that were on stage presenting awards are walking beside us in the same queues and you just kind of go, this is surreal. Like, it's just wild and everybody's dressed up. Everybody's excited. It's an awards night that gets a lot of support from the industry and it's great. We were there with the Television Academy Foundation. So it's just really fun to dress up or as we would say, frock up and go and it was fun.
Did it feel like magic? And you and I both loved ER.
We loved ER.
I know that soundtrack so well, but I feel like you would have had such a beautiful moment seeing the pit do so well.
Yeah, and one of the writers is a friend of ours, but I just think Noah Wiley as an actor and just everything I hear about this guy is that he's just a phenomenal human and he was just so humble and gracious when he got the award and then the show got the award. And I mean, I was crying. I was so excited. I was out of my chair clapping and cheering and I just to see someone who's been able to last in an industry where it can be really tough for multiple decades and be on top and just everybody happy to see him there was fabulous.
Oh, I feel like I'm vicariously living through. I literally thought, and then off the back of that, I'm sure there was some incredible after party that you went to. And you're here now, literally the next day, recording this pod. So thank you for not stopping.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Is that part of your, like, the way that you roll? Are you just like someone that's, I feel like you're constantly on the go. You're a person that seems to thrive off momentum.
Yeah, it's a great. I like that a lot. How you just frame that. I'm definitely someone who, after my dad passed and then my brother passed, it was very much for me. Life is a gift. Every day really is a gift, and I can choose to not do something with that, or I can choose to be proactive and live the best version of myself and live the best life that I possibly can. And so, every day, the smallest things, like every morning, I meet Josh for our morning meetings, and we have a coffee and we
You
go
go for
for
a
a
big
walk.
walk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
big walk down by the beach. And I love that, and I don't take it for granted. It's so wonderful to be able to do that, and to be able to live my best life. And
Yeah.
I throw everything at it because I want to say I did it, than to think what if.
So this was my next thing. I've seen you say like you're someone that doesn't want the what if, and
Yeah.
I totally relate to you. I don't like the feeling of having regret. And I've heard you also say, which is really interesting about you jumping on this pod, is you don't really believe in failure. You're more like, I'd rather give it a crack, learn,
Yeah.
and then grow from that and move on.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how you see a failure or like a setback?
100%. And there's a term I picked up from a friend. I fail forward is probably as close as I'll get to you'll ever hear me saying the word fail, because I genuinely believe that everything that has happened to me in my life, some of the most devastating experiences and some of the happiest, is the person who sits with you today. And that person is very happy. And I'm happy because I feel like I give it my all, and I am a very transparent person. I can weird people out by telling them how much I love them, because you just don't know when you're not going to be able to do it anymore, And so,
Oh, that's not weird.
yeah, like when I say goodbye to mum on the phone, like I know the last 5 minutes will be like, love you. And she goes, love you, Bubba. I go, love you, mum. And it goes backward and forward, backward and forward. And I never take it for granted. I just feel so blessed. And I will shout out to my friends. I love them. I'll send them random messages saying I love them, because they are very important to me in my life. My people that are in my life, I'm just very blessed to have them. And they take me quirks and all, and there are a few quirks. And so
We're Australian. We come with quirks. It's a package deal, right?
It's true. It's true.
So you, my friend, have an Order of Australia medal. What, like, pinch yourself moment?
I know.
You got that in what? In like, was it
I got
DC?
Yeah. So I
Kevin
didn't
Rudd
know.
gave it to you?
Yeah, and Ambassador Rudd, who I was very grateful, was able to invite me to the embassy in DC, and there was 4 of us that were getting different versions of the Order of Australia, 3 people that worked in the military and myself. So I felt incredibly grateful and blessed and humbled to be on stage receiving my medal as they were from Ambassador Rudd. Incredibly
I have to
humbling.
ask, was your mum beside herself?
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, when I rang and I told her, hey, I'm nominated for an Order of Australia medal, and there were some questions they came about, so I wasn't aware this had been going on, and my mum was just crying with absolute joy, absolute pride and joy. And when I got the medal and I went to DC to get it, there was just I've had some incredible experiences in my life, and that would have to be one of the most humbling, like loss of voice, not sure what to say, thank you moment. And Ambassador Raj shook my hand and he said, "You've been really busy and you do so much for the community. It's a very proud moment for me to meet you." And I felt my eyes welling up, and I feel it in my voice now. Like I was
Yeah.
like, that's because I came from a family where we were always told you can always do something to help somebody else. It's really important.
And I feel like your whole shtick is you're incredibly driven, and you've got drive and ambition and all these things. But I feel like one of your biggest hallmarks is how can I help other people?
Thank you.
That's the vibe I'm getting.
It's really important to me to feel like I can give something back. And sure, I mean, a lot of people, like especially from a charitable perspective, want to see you give money. But I give my time. I give money. I try to be a good friend. I try to be a mentor. I join programs where I can share my learnings.
Yeah.
And one of the things I love doing like this, is, as much as I admire and respect you, Lola, it's also that people listen to you, and I hope that they take something that I can share that goes, oh wow, that means something to me, or that can help me with something that I'm going through in my life. And what a gift to be able to do that and share my own experiences to possibly help others.
Well, that's what I loved about researching you. I was taking all these notes, and there's all highlights and everything going here, because I was like, oh, I relate to that. Like, I really want to talk about this incredible movie. But there's a moment where, and I can't remember which interview it was you were doing, and you were like, oh no, we had doubters. Like
Yeah.
people doubted you. And then in another interview, I heard you talk about, like, I've had to work on my self-doubt. So I can only imagine if you're in a scenario where you feel like someone might be doubting your dream or your vision, then to be able to cultivate self-belief in amongst a little bit of doubt, like that's a very hard like line to tread, because it's one thing to be like, that's cool, that's their stuff, I don't need to take it on. But it takes this kind of like inner learning and knowledge and lived experience of dealing with self-doubt to have that belief. And I know that you and Josh are like the bestie soulmates in the whole world. So you've got one another for those days when self-doubt might creep in. But was there any kind of moment where you're like, no, I've got this. We've got this. Like you remember like backing yourself even when it felt like maybe other people didn't back you?
Yeah, it's such a good question. I just love the lens you just gave that. Thank you. I would say that when I left the bank, I was actually going to go home for a little bit because my mum wasn't in the best of health, and I was really like trying to work out who I was. Like it had been my life, all my life of working was at banking, and it was 5 years. I joined as a 5-year-old and was off of a special program, so and I wasn't sure what my next chapter would look like, and when Josh Friedman, who'd been working in the industry for 10 years and just an incredibly talented person, but a very nice human, which is important to me, very strong values, wonderful family, said, do you want to come on as the executive producer? And there was a process to that. And I was like, I remember on the phone, like kind of giggling, going, Mum's going to love this. And I wasn't exactly sure of how much that would entail. But what I saw was during the strikes for the industry, just the ethical compass that Josh has that is immovable. He is such an honourable person and works incredibly hard, and his work ethic really resonated with me. And so I saw when it was very difficult, he was navigating because he was truly independent. So he was able to continue to progress in having his film made and just that grit. And so many people doubted him. And I was like, there's nothing that's going to stop Josh from doing this film, and he will do it in an ethical and kind way, which is very important. And so when I came on board, well, I had this background in banking, which was very helpful to the role, but also, to your point, the bank was known as the bank to the stars. Like I had industry contacts, I had built up a reputation. And together I really feel like we became unstoppable. He has a very strong creative talent and has a good business sense, and I have a very strong business sense with the creative talent. And so it was a real yin and yang. And the amount of times people were like, no, or like, we can't believe you actually did it. And we're like, we never doubted ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing for me was when I phoned Josh and I said, we just got the green light. It was early July last year, and we had a lot of hurdles to get through for our investors. And we just kind of had this moment. And I said to him, these are the moments that we have to remember, because our first will only happen once.
Oh, that's one of
our
my
first
favourites.
film. Yeah.
Isn't it so good?
I love it. It's like it's the first of everything.
Yeah.
Like we have to like really and enjoy
Soak it
the
up.
micro moments,
Yeah.
And there were plenty of times when like we'd be on the phone or we'd be in the trailer and we'd be like, oh my gosh, like we're actually doing this. This is crazy.
So good.
Yeah. And I think the first day on set, when we were going into the trailer and we were getting our passes, and there's just hundreds of people, it's 4:00 in the morning. And I go, wow, I got to put my big girl pants on. This is the major league.
Yeah.
And so there were a lot of times where people still go, I can't believe what you guys have done. And I say to Josh, I never, ever questioned us doing it. I just was wanting to make sure that the lessons were ones that we could take into the next film and the next film and the next film, because we'll do it for a long time. So, yeah, and I do try to find joy in every moment. So even if it's like a chaotic moment, very soon thereafter I'll be trying to find a way to laugh with Josh or others about that moment. I think that's also a very Australian way. We're very self-deprecating, and I love that.
Are. Me too.
So I there are still moments where I go, oh my gosh, we've done this, and we've done it really well. Like everybody says, it's a really well-produced movie. Josh did a great job as the director. Our cast are phenomenal, and they love us. It's just it's been a totally positive experience.
I love that you describe it as Indiana Jones on water.
I know.
I was like, oh no, that is the perfect catchphrase.
It is. And that also is my age demographic. Josh will say Outer Banks, which probably shows his age. Where I'm going, no, it's Indiana Jones.
I feel like I'm probably more near the Indiana Jones. But I have to ask, as someone who's also changed careers and a little different, but gone from like nutrition and then being like, I'm an actor now. And it can feel really scary sometimes.
Yeah.
And having spent 35 years in that, like, banking, finance, relationships, that kind of, it feels like you wore many hats.
Yeah.
But was there any, like, part of you that was like, oh, this is going to be really scary? Because if you finished, I believe it was like March 2024, cut to like a year later, you're, I imagine, on set or like thick in the film.
Yeah.
Like, that's a quick turnaround.
It was weeks after I left the bank that Josh asked me to come on board and be part of the team. Yeah. And I ended up going home backward and forward and didn't go home for possibly the months that I was going to do. With my mum's blessing and absolute support. There were times when I would be like, I'm used to running big teams, hundreds of people. And when it's you and one or two other people, I'm like, I have to learn this. Like, there's acronyms. I don't know what they're talking about. But I worked in the industry from a perspective of I'd been involved in sponsorships with films. I'd been involved with finance. I worked very closely with all the media. Like, I knew all of these. When COVID and the tragedies around COVID was taking place, like, my team led $1.8 billion of loans to the industry through Triple P. Like, I knew the industry, but I had not known it from this side of the table, where I was doing the asking and people were saying no. I'm like, whoa, they're usually coming to me and asking, like, and I'd be giving them the check or something or working with their teams. There were plenty of times when I went, like, am I in over my head? Like, wow, like, this is a lot. But I say this because when I went to Harvard Business School and I was nominated my class president, I was like, can I do this? Like, can I give the speech? And I phoned my mum and my mum said, well, people think you can because they voted you president. Yeah. And Josh and our investors believed in me, and I was never going to not take that very seriously, and I was never going to do anything that would let down or disappoint because people were counting on me. So even when I didn't know, I kind of went, oh, what a ride. Who would have thought, like, at my age I'd be like having to learn something and really recognize muscles I hadn't worked before and having a lot of fun doing it. But I would literally be on the phone and I would have my phone and I'd be on like a Zoom and I'd be looking at the Zoom and I'd be on my phone going, like, what is this acronym? And I'd be like, oh, okay. And then I'd be like talking like very confidently to that acronym and going, I learned it 2 seconds ago. Thank goodness for Google.
Thank you for sharing that. That gives me so much like hope and joy. I have to ask, your whole career feels like it's been one there's been a lot of relationships and you are a self-described introvert. Does your social battery sometimes go, hang on, I just need a beat? Or is it when you and Josh do your morning walks? Is that like a reset for you, like getting into nature, just being with one other person?
Yeah.
Because as an introvert as well, I struggle. Like, I'm like, I need to go home and like chill for or do something.
And you'd appreciate it. Like, it's just because we're like, I'm an introverted extrovert. Like, it doesn't mean we don't like being around people. It's where we source our energy from.
Yes.
And like, I'll always be that happy, shy kid. Like, I'm totally at peace with who I am. I definitely need downtime. Like, when I run of a morning, it's very rare that I'll take phone calls because I get into like a meditative state. Music's really quietly playing in the background in my AirPods, but I just enjoy that time for me every day. And when I do walk, there's like moments of that walk where, 10, 15 minutes, it's just the company of Josh that's so comforting that I don't need to talk to him. He's probably happy that I'm quiet occasionally, but those moments are really important for me. Like, even when it was so great when you and Matt could come to the screening, when we all went to Barney's thereafter, there was a moment where I actually just went to the bar and I got myself some nachos and I sat there with my skinny margarita and I just allowed myself a moment on my own. There are people all around me all I was like thinking of, Linda, how lucky are you? Like, you're at the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. You guys are in the green room. It's called Nicole Kidman Green Room, which is so wonderful. And I'm replaying the day and reminding myself of how blessed and lucky I am. I put my arms around luck. Like, anyone who says that luck, they've worked really hard and there was no luck involved, I understand the mindset. I have a slightly different lens to it. I work really hard and luck has come my way and I wrap my arms around it. And so I sat there for like, according to one of my friends, I was at the bar for like 25, 30 minutes. I was so happy. I knew all, like, people that I love are in the room, people that support us, champion us. Like, I stand on the shoulder of giants, like, and I want to be very present and grateful, and I am. I just needed a little time on my own, and I can find it in moments of chaos like that. I'm at Barney's; it's great. It's noisy
I was going to
everywhere.
say that is quite a chaotic place
I
to
know.
find.
I
And
love
it's
Barney's.
a moment for Linda. Okay.
I know, yeah. And Rachel came over. She says, "Hey, like, you're going to come over and join us?" I says, "Yeah, let's go." Like, because I'd had a chance to, because it had been a big day. It was very emotional, and I just, again, like you stand on that stage, like, the Rita Wilson and the Tom Hanks screening room. Like it's and our names are up on the screen. Like it's those pinch me moments. I go, like, that's the kid who grew up in government housing, and here she is, because I do believe in the Aussie battler. Like, I really do, and that is championed in Australia. Like, and I came here and people were so welcoming to me wanting to be here and to establishing myself here.
That's why they say Aussies often do quite well here, because we've got that battler mentality and like hard work, but they've also got the Aussie larrikin, don't take stuff too seriously. Like there's a bit of,
I agree.
which I feel like you have in spades. Both.
Thank you. And I do think there's a love affair between Australia and America.
Yeah.
There is a love affair of our people, and I love living here, and I love that I'm still Australian, and I love America, and some of the most impactful people in my life live in America, have been incredibly supportive to me. So, I feel very blessed, very lucky.
Now, when we had beautiful Josh on the pod,
yes,
he gave us a little sneak taste into kind of, because I think, especially through the lens of an actor, you kind of see movie magic and you're like, oh, I can't wait to do that kind of a project one day. And Josh was really good in like kind of opening my eyes to there's a business side to making movies. And I feel like your skill set would have been like, I've got all this like nous and understanding with finance, with all the history of everything that's almost like that's led you to this moment. How important to the viewer, the listener, is the business side of making a movie?
Yeah, look, it's critical, especially if you're and I think this is even so with studios, but you will definitely see it in independent films that they want to be sure you can manage to the budget. They want to be sure that you understand the numbers. And when Josh and I were speaking to investors, he did an outstanding job of showing his creative brilliance, like absolute genius. And he wrote the script and was incredibly supportive, while not always like cheering about the decision, but sometimes we had to make changes to the script because of budget. And he could see that all options were explored. He was very collaborative with the team about things like that. And, when you're sitting with like investors, like explaining to them we're going to be in all these different countries where there's different currencies and different tax credits.
4 different currencies?
Yeah. And letting them know that we understood that. And, budget versus cash flow, it's 2 very different things, and being able to have those conversations with them was really important. And while I often led a lot of those conversations, it was only because that's what was my responsibility. Josh was a great partner, and then being able to see as a director, he understood the value of the money and staying on budget and being responsible to that. And I think that for any filmmaker is really important, because, we talk about how it's hard at the moment because everybody's fishing from the same pond. There's no more fish.
Yeah.
We went to a different pond, and to show respect to that new pond with new fish, they needed to see that we understood the importance of making good quality like work like this feature film, and we could do it in a budget. So when you watch the film, a lot of people say, oh, that must have cost X, and we go, it wasn't that much. And that's because Josh was so clever and creative in being able to really bring this script to life on a big screen, which I absolutely love. I've watched it so many times now, I've lost count.
It truly feels like a huge budget movie, like underwater shots, drone shots, like stuff coming out from blowholes. Like it is so epic and adventure. And I think you think as a viewer, you're like, oh, this must be a humongous budget. And I have heard you say people were surprised when you were like, yes, this is an independent film, and yes, we have fully funded it. Like you believed in it and championed it and really got it to this point where your baby is completely coming to life.
I know. My baby's going to have a home soon, which is very exciting.
Oh, my goodness. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the next phase. And speaking of next phases, I have to ask you about your next project.
Yeah.
Being an Aussie, it sounds flippin' unreal. So give me a little taste.
Thank you. Very excited. Monty Franklin, who, is a very well-established comedian and has a very large following, wrote a script with Rob Schneider and John Cleese, and it's called The Great Emu War, and it's inspired by a true story. which I love. And I think it's written in such a beautiful way that it's going to be Australia's humour will translate into all different
100%.
countries and languages. It's wonderful. And basically there's a huge kind of uprise of farmers in the 1930s saying that the emus were overtaking their wheat farms, and you see this kind of play out in a very nostalgic, whimsical, very authentic way. And it's going to be great to be able to showcase some Aussie talent, some overseas talent, some new technologies around how do you bring emus to the film. And
yeah.
it's going to be fun. It's going to be really good fun to show that beautiful connection between the importance of human talent with technology that really brings a film to life.
Yeah.
And Josh is going to direct it. We're both EPs. I'm the lead producer. And that will be April, May next year we'll start filming. And we're just kind of pulling that together. Actually, I had a meeting about it this morning. And so Monty's been wonderful to work with. He's just so talented. And I'm really excited by this story. I'm really excited. And to be able to have that talent in this film just feels like a really nice progression for Josh and I. So very, very excited. And as word's getting out, like we just have a lot of people approaching us right now, and we're very, very lucky and blessed to be able to have these opportunities, but say, hey, we're already working on something. And so that's super exciting.
And you get to go home.
I get to go home. It's so
You'll
exciting.
be in Australia.
I know.
How good.
I can't wait. And, I joke, Josh is half Aussie. I go home 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And so I really love it. But to go home and to be home and be based there like for, a couple of months, bring my mum on set.
I was about to say, you got to bring your mum on set.
Yeah, she's such
Get
a
her in
movie
the
buff.
trailer.
Yeah, she'll love it. She'll love it so much. And, and my nephews and my niece, like just my family, like my friends I've had since I was teenagers, like just everybody's really excited and supportive. And so to be able to do something like that in my home country and like it's just the sense of pride is just enormous. Like it's just very amazing, humbling.
It makes me emotional. And also the story Josh and I were talking about is so funny.
It's so funny.
Like the character arcs, it's literally the emus. I can give this away, I'm sure. The emus win, right?
The emus win.
Like that is...
And it's inspired by a true story because in real life, the emus won.
It's so... incredible, and I'm so excited, and I just can't wait to see how it all unfolds. Now, as I love asking this to creatives that have kind of gone out there and done the thing that they love and are living their passion, or the yogi word for it is dharma, to live your dharma, and I feel like you are doing that.
Thank you.
For like a young actress or creative that's fresh out of drama school in Australia. I trained in Melbourne, fresh out of Melbourne drama school, and I always say that when you come out of acting school, it's so exciting, but there isn't necessarily a bridge between you've been in this beautiful little incubator that is drama school, and then to get on a set or to get the reps, all that kind of thing, it can feel like a world away.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for a young creative that is like, I want to do this thing. I don't know how, or, should they just start creating? Should they understand the business side of it and start networking? Like what advice do you have for a young, because I know you were that young girl, 9 years old with this big dream that kind of feels larger than achievable,
Yeah. The 9-year-old didn't know that. I had no clue. I was like, I'm going to do this. I would say a few things. First, networking can sound like it's not important, but it's super important. Like it's really important. You have to build your network. It's really, really important. Some of the contacts that Josh and I have had in meetings we've had, and even around sales and distribution, has come from our networks.
Yeah.
So it's really important to build your networks in a very authentic way to you. I'm not someone who can walk into a room and everybody's there and it's a networking event and people are exchanging cards, whether that's physically or I find that stuff for me personally as an introverted extrovert very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I'm in the bathroom. I'm just like, do a lap, be seen, get out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of nice people in that room. It's just not my energy.
Yeah.
And so find authentic ways to network and to build genuine connection and then nurture them, like look after them. I would say, especially for Australians, it's not in our nature to ask.
Yeah.
And in America, you've got to ask. I had great support from, Josh and our friends and investors like Linda, like, these people, phone them and ask them. The worst they can say is no. I felt like crawling out of my skin, but it was absolutely the best advice I'd gotten, especially as an independent filmmaker. So I'd be like, don't be afraid to ask. And don't lose sight of your dream, even if it feels like you've had to go around to get there. Like you feel you're a bit off track. If it, you were having to work in a restaurant because that's what you do while you're working in the local community plays where you're not getting paid any money, but you get to live you get to build your muscle and enjoy your passion. I think it's really, really important. I do a lot of pro bono work, and the work that I've done in the entertainment industry has been very, very valuable into making this film and establishing a career now in movie making. The business side is really important. People want to see that you understand it, but if you're an actor per se, it's good to understand and be respectful to it, but they need to build the muscle, start to get things on their resume that shows that they're very committed to it, and having a network is super important.
Oh, so good. I love how you say like ask, because
Yeah.
one of the things I love about Americans is they're so direct.
Yeah.
And initially when you first hear off that
Yeah.
Qantas flight, you're
I
like,
love Qantas.
but you're like, oh my goodness, they're so forward. But you can see how really good business is done, and quite quickly.
Yeah.
Because you know where you stand. Like, people are really honest about
100%.
what they need or what they think you can do.
Yeah.
And there's a refreshing,
Yeah.
like, I always say to people, it feels like there's so much possibility here. And I think it's because of that directness and that feeling like people are asking for what they really want.
Yeah, 100%. When I first hit New York and I would have these very direct conversations, I'd be like, oh gosh, like it's a lot.
Yeah.
But so you know exactly where you stand. It's very refreshing. And I think it's every no gets you closer to the yes, is how I kind of taught myself. And also when people say no, we'll ask why. Even when it's good, like because it's great, like why is it great? Like so to have that information and understand that the lens of someone like speaking to you, take the opportunity when they are to get as much feedback as you can, because it informs you for the next conversation.
That's such a great idea. I never asked for it. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks very much. No, I was saying that, like, even when they go, that's great, I go, why is that great? And, when we were, people were approaching us about the film and sales and distribution, and we had a few people making offers, and someone would go, that's great. And Josh would say, thank you for the feedback, always very, well-mannered, and be like, what did you like about it? Like, I thought this, like someone could give us feedback around, you should probably think about this in marketing. And we'd be like, that's great. Why do you think that?
Yeah. I love it. Okay, so I found a quote of yours.
Oh, let's hear it. Nervous.
How can other people believe in me if I can't believe in myself?
Uh-huh.
And I love, like, it rings true to everything you've shared today. But I think some days it can be kind of hard to, you're like you said, you're like, am I getting to where I want to get to, or am I going about something a really roundabout way? How important is that? Obviously, self-belief for you would have to be like primo.
Yeah.
Because executive producing, you're running the show. You're running the ship. You and Josh, it's your baby, and you're guiding this ship.
Yeah.
How true is that quote to how you live?
Yeah, it really resonates with me because if people are going to trust me, then I better honor that and be credible. Another term you'll hear is imposter syndrome. There are days where I do doubt myself. And it's easier to stay inside and keep the blinds down, but I make a choice to get up and think about, well, what is my purpose? And I was joking with some friends about this. It's so easy to say, oh, my coffee's half empty, but actually it's like I've just drank half my coffee and it was great. I know it's a very simple example, but I gave it to someone earlier last week. We choose our path, and it's harder to be positive and to see the goodness in things and the positive aspects. Like, I live in Santa Monica. People will save their money their whole life to come there for a holiday or a vacation, and I'm blessed to walk down there every day and go for a run. I will never take that for granted. And while I lived around beautiful beaches in Australia, I just remind myself of the blessings that I have. Like, I'm very, very lucky, and so I try to role model what I hope is a good citizen. Like, I really do. I know that sounds a little Pollyanna, but I do really want to be the best version of myself. Like, I I saw the sacrifices that my mum and dad made. Like it's
Yeah. Yeah. There, do you know what it makes me think of? Watching you at the Emmys last night and the song that was behind your, like, you were all glammed up and looked 10 out of 10 hot,
Yeah.
and which you do today,
Thank
by the
you.
way. But, and the song was This Girl's on Fire.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it just, it feels like your anthem because
Thank
your
you.
parents, it felt like, gave up a lot to make sure that you and your brother
Brother.
had really beautiful childhoods
Yeah.
filled with love.
Yeah. Yeah. And like if I said to my mum, you know, the sacrifices you and dad made, she would give me the hand and go, we made no sacrifices. You know, like that's what's so nice about it. Like she truly is probably the most optimistic person I've ever met in my life. And she doesn't see it as a sacrifice. And so, you know, and I do, you know, like when I spoke to her on Saturday afternoon, and she goes, you know, what are you doing tonight, baby? And I was telling her what we're doing. She goes, oh, is Josh there? Put me on speakerphone. I'm like, he's not here yet. But like we're going to this incredible party to support a charity that gives back, Motion Picture Television Fund. Yeah, very important.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, like just the blessing of being able to attend this, doing with the film and whatnot. And I get to do those things. Like that's incredible.
I feel like you have so many pinch yourself moments. Like didn't you do a speech opening the Grammys wearing, and I saw you wore Australiana?
Yeah, I wore, is it Aj? Is that how Aj? I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I love it.
Though.
Yeah, thank you, yes.
But you've had moments like that, right?
Yeah,
and then like to be on set with Josh, your bestie in the entire world, like, is there a moment, and I know there's probably so many pinch yourself moments, like you were literally at the Emmys last night.
I know.
But especially with creating, like, and I feel like talking to, like, being a producer and being an executive producer, that's your purpose. Like, that's your dream. Was there a moment on set, like, because I know some was shot in underground caves and where you were just like, oh my, how are we doing this thing?
Yeah.
Does anything spring to mind?
It was interesting. When we were coming from the Dominican Republic to Florida, and it was our last few days of filming, and we had a number of the cast with Josh and I on the plane, and Michael Evans-Bailing, who's a phenomenal talent and very just a lovely, lovely human, and he was sitting beside Josh behind me, and people got wind that he was on the plane and he's in a TV show called All American. And the flight attendant had to announce, like, came over and apologized to me. I'm like, that's okay. Like, Josh and Michael have gone to sleep. And I'm really sorry. We're going to, like, have someone standing, like, just near their seat so they can just have their privacy. And I'm like, this is so surreal. I would probably be the person who would have been walking down the aisle to try and get a sneaky pic, and now they're actually, like, protecting us from it. It's like, oh, my gosh, like, this is us. We're making this film. You know, we're doing this. And I found just that moment of like, wow, like we brought these people together. Like Josh, you know, selected this phenomenal cast and went through a very thorough process in doing it. And we brought this group together. Like that's surreal, you know, like it's, and I will say, I think the first morning when we got up, it's like 4 a.m. and we're getting into the car, like I was just like, it could have been any time of the day. I was so hyperactive. I was so pumped up. Then I started this thing, and now I insist we do it for every film. It would be at the end of every day. I'd go, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. It's so bad, and I love it so much. We would have our drivers singing it with us, and I loved it so much.
So good.
Yeah, it was.
Is that like Play School Australiana?
I think it is Play School Australiana.
That is literally where I think it comes from.
And it would be like, and then the guys would be like, oh, do we have to do this, Linda? I'm like, we're doing it on every film we ever make now. Like,
amazing.
I try to do it at 5 o'clock in the morning, and no one was having any of it. It's like, it's too early. Are you kidding?
Yes,
Like, it's almost like, Josh, make her stop. Like, it's too. She's like a puppy. But of the afternoon, people were more excited. I could like rally people to do it, and I would totally get into it. But it's funny when the drivers would start doing it with you, and they'd be like, Linda. Or like one day we got in the car, and we just had a long day, and there'd been unexpected rain, and we're in the car and we hadn't started it yet, and the driver starts going, Linda, and he starts doing it. I loved it.
Oh,
yeah,
my goodness.
So, yeah, there was a lot of pinch me moments, just like, you know, like I'd ring my mum and she goes, you know, where I am, like, we've just blocked off a lane of the freeway and we're filming all this stuff, and Josh has got like hundreds of people and they've got boats and there's some people on land, and I'm back at the freeway where we've got like all these semi-trailers and trailers set up, and we've taken over a whole lane of a freeway. Like, it's just wild.
Yeah.
You know,
Like mind-bending.
Yeah.
Like, this is happening. Well, my friend, I could talk to you all day long.
Thank you, Lola. You're such a good egg. Thank you.
Oh, that was so fun.
Thank you.
Please come back again.
Oh.
Let's do an Australiana version for the Great Emu War,
We
shall
should
we?
definitely do that. I really tried to tone my accent down today, but I'd love to do that.
Don't tone your accent.
I'm told often that people can't understand me, but because I do have a very working class Aussie accent that I love.
I feel like I do too.
Yeah, I think you do.
I feel like we're on a similar.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you are
you, Lola.
wonderful. To the listener/viewer, go out and watch the Queen's Jewels
Please.
when it's got its home, which
Yeah.
I'll ask you about after this.
Yeah. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you. I
my
adore you.
friend.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on another episode of Fearlessly Failing. As always, thank you to our guests, and let's continue the conversation on Instagram. I'm at Yummo Lola Berry. This poddy, my word for podcast, is available on all streaming platforms. I'd love it if you could subscribe, rate, and comment. And of course, spread the love.